What a weekend. Good afternoon YouTube, it's Mighty Grimlock and I am back again with my Auto Assembly 2014 thoughts and haul video. Well, all I can say is that was one hell of a weekend. It was amazing. It took forever to come round and it went by far too bloody quickly for my liking. Had a totally different vibe from last year. Last year everybody was ridiculously bouncy and excited and it was just like a party all the time. This year was much more laid back and relaxed and just nice casual conversation. It was really lots and lots of fun, and oh man, I'm missing you guys already. I really am. I can't believe it's going to be like another year before we get to do that again. It's just bloody wrong. It's wrong, I tells you. Again, it was a slightly different one for me this year. It was only my second day. This year I brought the missus and also my eldest son, who prefers to be referred to now as Mini Grimlock. Mrs. Grimlock, me missus, she got some t-shirts printed up for us before we came down, which was an awesome surprise. Unfortunately I can't show you them because they stink and they are actually in the wash at the minute, so that's how it goes. But they had my channel logo on them, and on the back mine said Mighty Grimlock and Mini Grimlock on my son's and Mrs. Grimlock on my wife's, and we walked around on Saturday and it was awesome. It was like probably the nerdiest thing we've done. Actually, it wasn't the nerdiest thing we've done, but we'll get on to that. So yeah, she had quite a nice time. She was primarily there to look after the little one, and that's kind of what she did. I think she would have liked to have been involved a bit more, and I kept saying, oh, you have to meet such and such, and then whenever we came down to look for people, nobody was around. So she got to meet a few people and she really enjoyed meeting the few people that she did. And she would also like to thank everybody for being so nice with Jacob. It was really quite special what some people did for him, and it was awesome. So I would actually quite like just to thank you as well. In particular Dave for doing those selfies on Saturday night with him. That was really cool. I think he enjoyed that during the cosplay. Ian for just being really nice with him, and also donating me something which he ended up spending the entire weekend playing with, so well done. And also Ian gave me a Thor and a Captain America for Jacob and my youngest, and my youngest actually went to bed with him last night and he won't let go of him today, so thanks Ian, I think that went down well.
Thanks Ian, I love my Captain America.
Anton and Amanda, his missus, for being so awesome with my missus and also with Jacob. Anton gave Jacob a little Energon cube which lit up, and it was really cool, and he spent like a whole time driving back going, oh, this is amazing, I love it. So yeah, that went down really well. Petrina, you were lovely. Thank you so much for doing the Mini Grimlock thing with him. He got such a buzz off it and he had a massive smile on his face when he walked out the room. Oh man, it was class. But probably my moment of the weekend, and I mean there was a lot of moments, a lot of just mint stuff happened basically. It was just lots of lovely people getting together, and it was great. But my moment of the weekend was me and Jacob were walking through the main room, and all of a sudden I just heard over the din of the crowd in the background, oh my god, is that Mini Grimlock? You should have seen his face. He lit up like a Christmas tree, and he was buzzing. He was going around thinking he was like famous for the rest of the weekend. It was fantastic, and that was Monkey. Jim, you totally made his weekend, mate, and that was probably like the highlight of the whole thing for me, and thank you very much. If I've missed anybody out there, I do apologise, but I've met so many people this weekend that I've kind of forgotten, and I had quite a bit to drink, so yeah. But everyone who did say hello to me, or Mrs. Grimlock, or Mini Grimlock, thank you so much, because it really meant a lot, and we had a great time. Absolutely great time. Mrs. Grimlock would also like to say thank you, and she just wishes she could have met more of you, but there's always next year for that, isn't there? I'm sure I'll be able to drag her back down. Had an ace night on Friday night, met up with loads of people, met Gerard for the first time, which was really cool. All the people that I met last year, plus many more, and it was just, we had lots of fun. Saturday night was somehow even better. Like I was saying before, the vibe was a bit different, so it wasn't just like a big massive everyone let's get absolutely rotten and have a big party vibe. We ended up stood around the bar area, quite a lot of us. It was like Ben, Rob, Brad, Luffy, Bubs, Ben and John, and there was some other people as well, just dropping in and out, and we had such a good chat and a good drink, and I didn't go to bed till about 2:30. I think everyone else was still up by that point, but I was knackered. Saturday night was one of the best nights I've had probably since last AA, to be honest, which I don't know what that says about my life. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Right, that's enough about that. Now it is time for the haul. Okay, so I'm just going to do this in order of price. I think that's probably the best way. So, to start us off, Ian Pyatt, Airlift 82, you lovely, lovely man, donated me a G1 Grimlock. Oh, he's beautiful. I love him. Love him. And yes, Mini Grimlock had this all weekend and wouldn't let go of him. I've only managed to just finally wrestle it out of his hands. So, thank you very much for that, Ian. Gifting stuff people at A, it's just the best thing. Then I bumped into Dorian, which again was another amazing thing. Dorian is a proper metaler. Dorian likes Blind Guardian. That makes Dorian cool. What also makes Dorian cool is the fact that he donated me a G2 Grimlock. Hey! And he's mentally bonkers. He's bright blue. He's awesome. I love him. Thank you very much for that, Dorian. Thank you. That was the stuff that I was gifted. Now it's time for things that I spent all my hard-earned money on. So cheapest items first. I love my little Generations bots. I wasn't sure if I was going to buy these, and then on Sunday I was just like, yes, I am. It's a Generations Legends Cliff Jumper with Suppressor. Don't know who Suppressor is? I shall find out. Can't get one without getting the other. Nemesis Prime and Spinister. Yes. 13 quid each these were, which I thought was quite a bargain considering that's pretty much how much they are online, so to have them in hand was quite nice. Coming in at the extremely reasonable price of £15 was Generation Scoop. Very, very orange, but also very nice. Again at £15 was some of the best light piping we've seen this year. Generations Armada Starscream. He's so teeny, he's teeny tiny, he's so small, but he's beautiful. Moving along. Found this on the Sunday. I had 35 quid left and I was absolutely desperate to get rid of all my money, and I only had about 15 minutes before I was due to leave, so I was running around and going, oh, what am I going to buy? There's too many things. Found this for 20 quid and it's very, very sexy. It's War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. It's from the Toys R Us exclusive Battle Over. Rage Over. 1 second. By the power of Google. Rage Over Cybertron Optimus Prime. 20 quid. Bargain. Beautiful. Very nice. Also for 20 quid, I finally got a Springer. I know everybody's had him for a year and they all said how amazing he is, but for some reason I've just never bought one. Thought 20 quid was a decent price. And yes, he is wonderful. From the lovely lads at Toy Foo, I managed to find a Binaltech Grimlock for 20 quid, which again I thought was a pretty decent price. He weighs an absolute ton, and he'll probably take me about 7 months to transform into robot mode. But there are instructions in here, so at least I've got that going for us. He's very, very sexy. Very sexy indeed. Last year, one of the things I was looking for was a Cybertron Optimus Prime, and I was absolutely desperate to find one. I think I found one, but it was about 65 quid, and I wasn't going to pay that for it. This year, they were all over the place. Like, literally 6 or 7, easily, possibly even more. Some of them were incomplete, some of them were like 45, 50 quid, and then I was just having a quick browse through the Space Bridge, and I suddenly found this, and I was like, ooh, I'll have that. 30 quid, complete. What I thought was actually a Cybertron Optimus Prime. I got him back to my room, and I was trying to work out how to transform him. Quickly googled him, and discovered he's actually a Galaxy Force Optimus Prime. I didn't know what Galaxy Force Optimus Prime was. By the power of Brad. He's actually Hasbro, he's not Takara, he's not a Galaxy Convoy, and he's not a Cybertron Optimus Prime. He came out just after Cybertron Optimus Prime, and is apparently now the rarer one to find. So for 30 quid, I'm pretty pleased with that. He comes with all his bits, and he's got his Matrix, and he's very sexy. I think there might have to be a drinking game about how many times I use the word sexy here, because it's getting a bit silly. Slightly obscene. Fart. I didn't want to spend how much money I spent on this, but I kept seeing him. They only had him on one stall, and there was only 3 of them, and it was £55 for a repaint of Fall of Cybertron Voyager Grimlock. I'll tell you what though, he's bloody lovely. I don't think he's really worth £55, but there wasn't any anywhere else, and I walked around about 6 or 7 times, and every time I did a lap of the dealer room, I picked him up and I looked at him, and I think by the 4th or 5th time I was like, I've pretty much started a relationship with you now. It would be really, really awful of me not to buy you. So that's what I did. I bought him, and he's lovely. If anyone saw me on the Sunday, you might have seen me running around like a bit of a headless chicken, because for some reason I just couldn't part with my money on Saturday. I spent just over half of what I'd brought, and I just couldn't spend it. I just kept looking at stuff and going, oh, maybe, oh, don't I, and doing all that, and I just couldn't find things. And then when I decided I was going to buy something, I'd go and it had gone, and yeah, it was one of them days. I'm going, right, I've got all this money and I've saved up for this long and it has to go today. I'd spotted something on the Saturday and I'd contemplated it. It was something I was looking for last year, and there was a few of them knocking around, and for 75 quid, which is a little bit more than I wanted to pay for it, I got the Takara Encore Devastator with the animation accurate head. I've not opened him up yet, but I'm going to have a look at him this afternoon, and he does look very, very nice. Okay, it was the one thing I went for, and I found it. Came in on the Saturday morning, walked around 4 or 5 times, couldn't see a single Masterpiece Grimlock anywhere, and I started to go into panic mode, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to get one. It's all I wanted to come for, and there isn't any anywhere. And just out the corner of my eye on the kapow stand, I spotted the top corner of the box, and I got one. Oh yes. I might be wrong, but he was literally the only one that I could find in the entire dealer room. So I don't know if I got the only one at Auto Assembly this year. I'm sure there was probably another couple that somebody else picked up, but £130 for the sealed, brand new, in-box Takara one. I was pleased with that. I was expecting to pay about 170, so yeah, I was quite chuffed with that. I almost bit his hand off. And my god, this thing is just the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen. Second only to my children and my wife. This is like, it's just gorgeous. So happy I've got him. The transformation on his legs is just magic. The engineering that went into this thing is ridiculous, because it transforms very similarly to the G1, but it doesn't, and it's so clever and it's so gorgeous, and oh man, I can't even begin to tell you how happy and excited I am that I've actually got this now. And I'm going to have to update my Grimlock shelf because it's grown exponentially this weekend. The artwork I commissioned came out amazing as well. This is such an awesome picture of Grimlock. Can't even put into words how good this looks. It just looks amazing. And I've got the original sketch as well, which again is just awesome. I mentioned earlier on that going around in matching tops with our names on the back was the second nerdiest thing I did all weekend. The first nerdiest thing I did came on Sunday morning. Some of you will know this because you've seen it this weekend, but I'm actually in the process of getting a Last Stand of the Wreckers tattoo on my leg, and I had a sudden brainwave, possibly alcohol induced, on Saturday night, that I would find Nick Roche and James Roberts and get them to sign the back of my leg and then get it tattooed on as part of the sleeve that's going all the way around. So I did. Queued up for ages to meet Nick Roche again, and asked him to sign my leg, and he thought it was absolutely the best thing he'd ever seen in his life, which is brilliant. He told me it was the best leg he'd seen all weekend, so it wasn't as good as Mrs. Grimlock's legs, mind. Oh, mind, that's another story. She was a bit annoyed about that. Turns out, men and toys equals less ogling of women, apparently. Not from my perspective, like, but never mind. So getting back to the story, I met Nick. He thought it was brilliant. He called James over and they took loads of photos of it, and both of them signed the back of my leg, and I am going actually this evening to go and get those signatures tattooed on the back, so they will become part of my leg sleeve. And they asked me to keep in touch and keep showing them updates of the leg as it got better, so it was amazing. I don't think anybody's ever had anything of theirs tattooed before, or at least not to their knowledge, so they were like, oh my god, this is a first. I can't believe you've got a Last Stand of the Wreckers leg sleeve. That's absolutely ridiculous. But you know, it's a great comic, and I love it, and I love the artwork, and those two lads are just hilarious, so why not? Why not? The post-AA blues are starting to sink in. I'm not going to see a lot of you for at least another 12 months, and that's quite a sad thing. But keep up on the TFYTC. We had a I didn't even mention Scott Barker. Scott came all the way down from Derby on the Saturday just to hang out in the bar. Lovely lad. It was very nice to meet you, Scott. I met some other people, Tim and some other ones from the group. We had a little meet up on the afternoon. It was really unofficial. Just basically we're going to be in the bar at 2 o'clock, and loads of people turned up, and it was really, really nice to put some names to some faces, and you know, and just have a chat with people. It was awesome. I also had a bit of a superstar moment, which was just ridiculous because I'm anything but. Stood at the bar, and this man comes up to me and he shakes my hand. He says, "Oh my god, my kids absolutely love you and they watch you all the time. Do you know what I should have done? I should have got those kids' names. If you're watching, you know who you are because I met your dad and I met your mum and she took a photo of me with your dad. So thank you very much for watching my channel, kids. It's brilliant that you enjoy it. I'm glad somebody does." Hopefully I'll see you at AA one year. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I left that feeling a bit like a rock star. It's like, mate, someone recognised me and wanted their photo taken with me. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't have the highest subscriber count, so for someone to recognise me and then come up and say hello, it was great. I really, yeah, I got a big buzz off that. It was awesome. But yeah, keep watching, keep doing what you're doing, keep up the awesome. It was a great weekend. I get the impression Ray had to go home ill, which was very, very upsetting, bless him. I only saw him for about 30 seconds. There was a lot of people who I really wanted to see and kept seeing him passing and not really had a proper chat with. And it was so busy and so frantic, and I missed out on a lot of people. But Saturday night in the bar was a particular highlight. Yeah, that was awesome. If you've never been and you're considering coming, I really would recommend going next year because you know it's fantastic and you have such a good time. I think she doesn't want to admit it, but Mrs. Grimlock did enjoy herself for some of it. So job done. I'm going to try and get her a ticket next year, I think. I look forward to watching everybody else's AA videos. See a few starting to sneak out on the tube now, so I'm going to start sitting and watching a few of them and play with my toys. Oh dear me, such a nerd. Goodbye!